Judy is a working-class lady. She works hard every day to earn a living. She has seen a lot in life, especially when it comes to love. Judy believes that marrying a young man is a total break of heart. She thinks young men are only good at making friends and nothing else. To her, they are not serious when it comes to love or building a future. One time, Judy dated a young man. He was full of fun and jokes. At first, everything seemed sweet. But with time, Judy saw that he was not ready to settle down. He only wanted to enjoy life and didn't think about responsibilities. Judy was hurt. Her heart was broken. Since then, Judy made up her mind. She tells her friends, young men are just for friendship. Nothing more. They are not for serious relationships. To Judy, young men are good people, but only for fun talks, not for love. One sunny afternoon, Judy was sitting in a sitting room with her friends. They were laughing and talking about life. Suddenly, one of her friends, Jacinta, said, "Judy, don't you think it's time you got married? Age is no longer on your side." Judy just smiled. "I don't want to marry a young man," she said calmly. "Why?" Another friend asked. Judy shook her head. "Young men are not good in marriage. They are only good for dating. They shout, they beat their wives, and they don't know how to take care of a woman." Jacinta looked at her with a surprised face. "So who do you want to marry then?" she asked. Judy smiled again. "An old man," she said. "Old men know how to take care of a woman. No beating, no shouting. They just give you peace." Jacinta laughed and shook her head. "Judy, marriage is by luck," she said. "Whether he is young or old, it's only God that knows who is good." Judy smiled and looked at them. "At least I learnt my lesson from you both," she said. They looked at her with surprise. "What do you mean?" Jacinta asked. Judy shook her head slowly. "Have you forgotten how your husbands beat you almost every day? And how you both complain that your young husbands don't give you money for food?" Jacinta quickly stood up, her face full of anger. "Judy, are you trying to insult us or what?" But Judy just smiled again. "No, I'm not insulting you," she said calmly. "I'm only trying to tell you the difference between young men and old men in marriage." Jacinta kept staring at her, still angry, but didn't say anything. The other friend looked down, not knowing what to say. Judy's friends angrily stood up and walked out of her house. They were upset, but instead of feeling sad, Judy laughed out loud. "They want me to end up in a bad marriage like theirs," she said, shaking her head. "No way. I will only marry an old man who knows how to treat a woman with respect. Not those young men who beat their wives and act like they own them." From that day on, Judy made up her mind. Any time a young man came to ask her for a relationship or marriage, she said no. She didn't care if they were rich, handsome, or charming. She believed young men were full of trouble. As time went on, Judy kept rejecting every young man who showed interest in her. She always said the same thing: "I'm waiting for an older man. One who understands women and doesn't raise his hand to hit them." One day, Judy went shopping in a boutique. As she was looking through some clothes, an average old man walked in. He was not too tall, not too short, just normal. He looked gentle and calm. The man saw Judy and smiled kindly. "Hello, young lady," he said. "My name is Chief Augustine." Judy smiled back and said, "Nice to meet you, sir. I'm Judy." They started talking and laughed together as they moved around the boutique. Chief Augustine helped her pick some nice clothes and even gave her advice on colors that suited her. When it was time to pay, Judy brought out her purse, but Chief Augustine stopped her. "Don't worry, I'll take care of it," he said kindly. He paid for everything she picked without complaining. Judy was surprised and touched by his kind gesture. After they finished shopping, Chief Augustine asked, "Can I have your phone number so we can talk again?" Judy smiled and gave him her contact. "Of course, Chief," she said. When Judy got home, she was so happy. She couldn't stop smiling. She sat on her bed and said to herself, "If this man is serious, I am ready to marry him. He is my type of man. Calm, mature, and knows how to handle a woman. Not like those young, rough boys." That night, Augustine picked up his phone and called Judy. He was a little nervous, but also excited. When she answered, her voice was warm. "Hello, Judy. It's Augustine," he said. "Augustine. What a surprise." "How are you?" she asked, smiling through her voice. "I'm doing well. I was wondering. Would you like to go out for coffee or maybe dinner sometime?" he asked gently. Judy paused for a second, then replied, "Yes, I'd like that." They agreed to meet on Saturday afternoon. When the day came, Judy wore a simple, beautiful dress. Augustine looked neat and calm. They met at a quiet restaurant in town, sat by the window, and talked as they waited for their food. After a while, Judy looked at him and asked, "Augustine, can I ask you something personal?" "Sure," he said, nodding. "Are you married?" she asked. Augustine looked down for a moment, then said quietly, "Yes. I was. But we got divorced many years ago." Judy raised her eyebrows, clearly surprised. "Oh. I didn't know. What happened?" Augustine gave a soft smile and said, "Let's not talk about that now. It's a long story, and I'd rather not go into it tonight." Judy looked at him kindly and nodded. "Okay. I understand." Then they moved on to other topics, old memories, funny stories, and plans for the future. The evening was filled with laughter, gentle smiles, and the feeling that something new was beginning between them. Not long after, Judy and Augustine got married in a small but beautiful ceremony. Everyone was surprised, but no one was more shocked than Jacinta, Judy's closest friend. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Judy? Married to Augustine?" she asked over and over. How did this even happen? Life between Judy and Augustine became sweet and peaceful. They laughed a lot, prayed together, and supported each other in everything. Augustine treated Judy with kindness and respect, and Judy, in return, gave him her full heart. Each morning, Judy woke up smiling. She would look at her wedding ring and whisper, "God has truly favored me." Her heart was full. For the first time in a long while, Judy felt like everything in her life had come together perfectly. Love, joy, and peace filled her days, and she couldn't stop thanking God for what he had done. 3 months after Judy got married to Augustine, things started to change. Augustine was no longer the sweet and caring man she married. He became cold and distant. He stopped talking to Judy like before. They no longer laughed or prayed together. He didn't even sit with her or ask how her day went. Judy was confused. She didn't understand what went wrong. She kept asking herself, "What have I done? Why has he changed so suddenly?" But no matter how much she thought about it, she couldn't find any answer. Every small thing Judy did became a problem for Augustine. If she cooked, he said it wasn't tasty. If she cleaned the house, he said she didn't do it well. He started shouting at her for no reason. And sometimes, when his anger got too much, he would even beat her and throw her out of the house. Sometimes in the middle of the night, Judy would sit outside in the cold, crying, holding her arms tight around herself. Her heart was broken. This was not the marriage she prayed for. This was not the life she dreamed of. She kept asking God, "Why is this happening to me? I thought you gave me this man. I thought you favored me." But no answer came. Just silence. And pain. As life went on, Augustine continued to maltreat Judy. He shouted at her all the time and called her all sorts of names. He never cared how she felt. Judy cried almost every day, but he didn't stop. One night, after a big argument, Augustine beat her again. This time, it was worse. He was so angry that he chased her out of the house in the middle of the night. Judy had nowhere to go. She sat down at the gate, cold and lonely. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she looked up at the dark sky. She asked herself, "How did I end up like this? Is this what marriage is supposed to be?" She shook her head slowly and said quietly, "I thought old men were the best when it comes to marriage. But I was wrong. It doesn't always go that way." Her heart was full of pain, and she wished she could turn back time. One day, Jacinta visited Judy unexpectedly. She hadn't told Judy she was coming, so Judy was surprised to see her. But Jacinta was even more surprised when she saw bruises all over Judy's face and some parts of her body. "What happened to you?" Jacinta asked with worry in her voice. Judy quickly tried to smile and pretend everything was fine. "Oh, it's nothing, I just fell," she said, looking away. But Jacinta wasn't fooled. She came closer to Judy, looked her in the eyes, and said softly but firmly, "Judy, I know exactly what's going on. You don't have to lie to me." She touched Judy's arm gently and asked, "So your old husband has been beating you? I thought you said old men are the best when it comes to marriage. Why then are you like this? It's just a few months since your wedding, and you already look like a maid." At those words, Judy couldn't hold it in anymore. She broke down in tears. Her body shook as she cried, and Jacinta held her tightly, trying to comfort her. "I'm so sorry, Judy," Jacinta whispered. "You don't deserve this." Jacinta came closer again and held Judy's hands. "You don't have to cry," she said gently. "I told you before, marriage is by luck. It doesn't matter if it's a young man or an old man. What matters is the person's heart. But you never believed me." She looked at Judy with sadness in her eyes. "Now look at yourself. I can't even describe what you look like anymore. This is not the Judy I used to know." Judy wiped her tears slowly. Her voice was low and shaky as she spoke. "Jacinta, my dear, I can't do this anymore. I want to leave. This man is too wicked to live with. I've tried, but I'm tired." Jacinta gave her a small, sad smile and said, "I understand, Judy. Honestly, I've heard many stories about him even before he married you. People talked about how harsh and cruel he could be." She paused for a moment, then added, "But you never showed me who he was until your wedding day. That was the first time I saw him." Judy looked at Jacinta with tears in her eyes. "I'm really sorry," she said softly. "I don't know what came over me. Please forgive me." Jacinta stayed quiet for a moment, then nodded slowly. Judy continued, "Please. Can you tell me what stories you've been hearing about him? I want to know. I need to understand." Jacinta gave a small smile, the kind that hides a little pain. "Judy," she said gently, "sometimes it's better to leave a marriage than to stay in one that kills you slowly. Judy felt her heart tighten. Please, Jacinta. Just tell me a little. I need to hear it from you. Jacinta looked at her friend, sighed, and finally said, okay. But only a little. Because some things, they still hurt to talk about. Jacinta came a little closer, lowered her voice, and said, Judy, I heard he has married many wives before you. And he ended up chasing each one away because of his bad, evil behavior. Judy's eyes widened in surprise, but Jacinta wasn't done, and to make matters worse, she added, he has never had a child with any of them. In fact, people say he is impotent. Judy gasped. What? She said loudly. No wonder I haven't conceived all this while. She placed her hand on her chest, shocked and confused. Jacinta looked at her seriously. So, she said softly, do you still want to stay married to your old man? Or are you ready to leave this marriage? Judy shouted, oh my God, what have I done to myself? Her voice was full of pain and regret. She turned to Jacinta, her face angry and her hands shaking. Which girl in her right senses would ever want to live with this kind of man? She asked bitterly. Then, as tears rolled down her cheeks, Judy looked up and spoke with a trembling voice, young ladies out there, please don't make the same mistake I made. Don't marry a man because of what you imagine in your head. Marry a man because you know who he truly is. All men may seem the same, but if you're lucky, God might give you a better one. She paused for a moment, her eyes full of sorrow. And please, never mock another woman's husband. You don't know if yours will turn out to be even worse. Without another word, Judy stood up. She walked into the bedroom, opened her wardrobe, and started packing her clothes. Jacinta followed silently, helping her fold and arrange her things. Once everything was packed, Judy took one last look around the house. Then she picked up her bag, held Jacinta's hand, and together, they walked out of the house, leaving behind the pain, the tears, and the man who had broken her heart.